to the channel. Today you join me from the driver's seat in a 2016 Jeep Wrangler. One of the coolest truck 4x4 things that you can buy, that you can daily drive, that is relatively luxurious inside. I do believe these are absolutely fantastic. I had one as a press car a few years back and I absolutely loved it. So today I had to go and grab this one to see what the 2016 generation was like. If you do like this sort of video, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, but onwards to the B roads.
We're interrupting today's video to give a massive thank you to today's sponsor, Yes Auto. Yes Auto is the one-stop shop for buying any car, with an experience that's always easy and enjoyable. Navigating onto the website, you can select each brand that you want to look at, each model, and even down to colour variant. You can also select through the images, as well as looking at brand new cars in 360 degrees inside and out. I myself spend a lot of time just looking at cars for sale, so it's awesome to jump on the Yes Auto website to have a look at cars for sale. You can even do a smart search on new and used cars with an option to select cash price or monthly costs. Their aim is to make car buying easy and enjoyable. Yes Auto are the one-stop shop offering a simple, impartial way to configure and compare new and used cars from almost any manufacturer, with a whole load of clever tools and media content for total reassurance. Once again, a huge thank you to Yes Auto for sponsoring today's video. There is a link in the description to the Yes Auto website. Thank you so much again to Yes Auto for sponsoring today's video, but let's get back to the action.
Now, 2016 Jeep Wrangler. This is the diesel 2.8 CRD variant of the Wrangler, and the funny thing is, right, after looking at my Dodge Ram and enjoying it and driving it, jumping in this, it is incredibly similar in the sense that you're driving a relatively luxurious, newer styled version of an agricultural driving car. Now, I know that sounds really weird to some people, but the idea that you're in luxury, I've got the heated seats on. Yes, we've taken the front roof off today because I wanted to experience one of these Wranglers with those front roof parts off. They come off in two very easy sections, so you can actually throw them in the boot. It's so simple to take this car apart, it's unbelievable. If you've watched anything on these, you'll know full well that these are incredibly easy to break down. You can take the doors off, you can take the windscreen down if you so wish to, you can take the complete rear roof and door off this one as well. Today, unfortunately, it's a little bit hit and miss with the weather. I do really want to shoot one of these with all the doors and all the roof off and everything at some point. We will do it closer to the summer maybe. It's really nice to go and enjoy one of these and just experience it, especially as I drive a more agricultural, American, more luxury focused pickup truck. Driving one of these Wranglers, the base of these cars is still old school. It's still got that feeling of off-road, sort of a wayward feel. It's not firm and planted on the road like any performance car. It's actually very loose in the sense, but it's calm loose. But it's really calm with the way you drive it. Although they're not as directional as a performance car and they're not as out-and-out performance-based as, you know, a performance car, these Jeep Wranglers, especially this generation, is just the perfect amount of old school and new school. Let me really delve into that part of it, because you're sitting in a relatively new cabin. It is quiet in here. The doors and the glass are nice and thick. The steering wheel and the infotainment system, the heated seats, the heaters, everything is of a new car, of a new generation of Jeep Wrangler, but you have that old school feel. When you do tip this into a corner, it's not wallowy. I'm not going to say it's wallowy whatsoever, but you can feel the old school sort of suspension sort of working and, you know, flopping around a little bit more. Like if you were to drive my Dodge Ram in comparison to this, it would be night and day. And yes, this isn't a comparison against a pickup truck and a Jeep Wrangler, don't get me wrong, but it's nice to sort of get out of something that, again, is a little bit more agricultural. If I get in a performance car and then I got into this, I would think it was so night and day, complete polar opposite from a normal, or at least an SUV of the same sort of era. It still feels like a classic car, or at least an older style car to drive around in, I actually really enjoy it. I enjoy the fact that these are, you know, the base of the car is very old school, but you do have the newer amenities throughout the car. I like that. It's part of the Jeep heritage, I think, and it's sort of one of the reasons why I really like these Wranglers. Let's get on to the fact that the pricing of these is, well, quite expensive actually. They're about 40 to 50 grand when you buy them new. This one, 2016, you're looking at around 25 to 30,000 pounds for this one. We're around 50,000 miles on it. That's quite a lot of money in theory for something that, yes, if you were to rival a Range Rover, say a 30 grand Range Rover, the Range Rover will be more luxurious and all that sort of stuff, but this is the perfect amount of feel and feedback from the chassis and the suspension and the way it sort of goes like this down the road. It's really, really nice to drive is what it is. But it's also got the nicer, newer inside. We put it into a corner here and it's very compliant with the way the actual chassis is, you know, relatively new, but it's got that old school feel in it. I'm trying to get across really what is happening here. We just drove past a Defender there, and if you were to drive a Defender and think that this was relatively the same, you know, say we got a last generation of the old Defenders, this is literally night and day from a Defender. It is nothing like a Defender. This is nicer to drive, nicer to steer. Yes, I understand there's a lot of Defender purists out there that absolutely love Defenders, but for me, I love a good Jeep. Aftermarket as well. Let's talk about the aftermarket side of these. This one's had a few bits done to it. It's had the wider arches put on. It's about £300 wide arch, or at least get these arches for your Jeep Wrangler. You got the front grille, a little bit more evil looking, with a set of halo headlights, and that'll run you in for, you know, a couple £100 per grille and headlight setup. I don't think that's too bad. These again are very, very specable, or at least changeable. You can really modify these. America seems to be massive for this generation of Jeep and the previous generation. Again, very, very easy for you to actually go and modify one of these. We're actually just driving past a 59 plate one there that's just got some arches and some mud tyres on it, and it looks fantastic. Even if you just change the tyre setup and a set of arches, it makes a huge difference on these Jeeps. So running costs, how much is it to run this thing? Well, the diesel ones get about 20 to 25 mpg. Again, you're a 2.8 litre diesel turbo CRD engine, and it is pretty good on fuel. Interestingly enough, as we look at the steering wheel on this Jeep, it actually has the identical buttons as my Dodge Ram. Because it's FCA, because it's the same people that really make this as well as my Ram, it's even got the identical wiper stalks just in front of me, and that's what I'm talking about. The Ram that I own is sort of like this, but also really not at the same time. Yes, they share buttons and, you know, various other things from the FCA group, but it's a very different execution in this car. So on this journey right now, we're getting 24.9 mpg. Run you in about £70 to fill one of these up. I think reliability wise, they seem to be relatively reliable. I don't hear any horror stories. I was going through the forums and various other Facebook groups and stuff just to sort of try and find warnings and various other stuff. So there's no real horror stories for these cars. So yeah, all in all, I'm super impressed with these. Again, I had one for a couple of weeks from Jeep themselves as a press car, and I absolutely loved it, and still to this day feel like I am going to own one of these at some point, modify it, jack it up, put some wheels and tyres and over fenders and all that sort of good stuff on it, but still have a luxurious, nice inside, because that's the bit I love the most, the agricultural, old school feel of driving one of these, but the newer school inside definitely tipped me over. As a prospective buyer, it made me feel like I could definitely get in one of these at some point. Anyway guys, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I'll see you all on the next one.